Azor came into the bracket this weekend with a 3rd seed placement, giving him a bye through to winners round 2. Here Azor awaited his first challenger in Queza, a previous Def's Dojo bracket winner, and unfortunately for Azor, Queza proved to be an evenly matched competitor, as their nail-biter set ended with Azor moving to loser's bracket 2-1 in favor of Queza. Azor would go on to take on 3 Def's Dojo veterans in Softboiled, Hyper Jake, and November, besting them all to punch his ticket into loser's side top 8. His run would be stopped here, however, after a long Game 5 set with Tona would see him finish at 7th place.
We all had high expectations when the 2022 Summer PR champ MJI returned to bracket after a few-month break from Smash. MJI was prepared to take on the new competition, but right off the bat, the up-and-coming Min player November had different plans, knocking MJI's Aegis into loser's bracket 2-1. There, MJI would advance on a DQ, before taking out Labo and Quasar both 2-0. Unfortunately, MJI's run would be cut short without a fight, needing to DQ at 7th.
The theme of Winners Round 2 was upsets, and Treymaster was not left unscathed. After a DQ in Winners Round 1, the number 3 player in this past season's PR would fall 2-1 to fellow PR veteran Tona. A DQ to start loser's bracket would put Treymaster 2 sets away from top 8. Trey would go on to take out Shadowboy and Showtime, both sets being 2-0s, before the backmain would leapfrog MJI on a DQ to 5th place, finally being eliminated by Puppet Man's Richter 3-1.
Tona has a tendency to pull out random on the character select screen, but the strength of tonight's bracket meant that in every set but a 2-1 random win over Softboiled, Tona was on the pack. Tona was able to knock Treymaster, the Little Mac player who was number 3 in Def Dojo's most recent PR, into losers 2-1. In the following set, Tona himself was knocked into losers by the eventual 3rd place finisher Puppet Man 2-0. In losers, Tona found his way past Baltu's Ike 2-0 and fought a lengthy battle with the number 3 seed Azor, whom he knocked out of bracket with a 3-2 victory for the Pac-Man main. Tona's run finally came to an end when he faced up against Tetrax, who had been picking up steam all bracket. The set between Tetrax and Tona was patient on both ends, but Tetrax was able to see through Tona's high-damaging setups, as although Tona was able to find space to charge fruit and get Tetrax into difficult situations, Tetrax was able to hold on to stocks for quite some time and win the battle of attrition 3-0, knocking Tona out of the bracket.
Good up B, Tetrax in a comfortable percent-wise position, but maybe not for long. Tona doesn't find the stock there. That could be huge. Alright, there it is.
Tetrax is back, one of the best to ever do it here at the dojo, making his return after a season-long journey away. Tetrax came to play. An uneventful 2-0 over Shadowboy would see Tetrax squaring off with community-voted rising star Hyper Jake. A hard-fought set between the two would see Hyper Jake pulling out all the stops, taking the lead on Tetrax after a convincing Game 1. It's at this point, however, that Tetrax would pick things back up, and a last-hit situation would see Tetrax take the set 2-1.
Back air across stage isn't going to, but the next one might.
It might with this rage. No!
Always got a kill here.
There it is,
Yeah.
Tetrax moving on. This is actually legitimately one of the best sets we've ever seen. A 2-0 set over Queza would follow, setting up Tetrax for a run-in with eventual bracket winner Butterkicks. Switching off the Falco for the first time, Butterkicks, showing off some sick ices, would give Tetrax the 1-0 lead, but Butterkicks would pull the space animal back out to finish the job, sending Tetrax to losers 3-1. Here Tetrax would battle it out with Tona for a spot in loser semis. Even though Tona had taken the previous 2 sets 3-0, it was Tetrax who would sweep his way to the next round. Tetrax would have his run end here, however, with Puppet Man's Richter proving too much of a challenge for the Incineroar, leaving a futile plant switch mid-set to see out his run at 4th.
Another newcomer has arrived at the dojo. Starting the bracket with the 17th seed, Puppet Man came in with a fantastic first impression for the dojo. Puppet Man started the day showing us that his Wario can be deadly, both in his waft kill confirms as well as his percent building combos all around the stage. Alongside Wario, Puppet Man pulled out Richter when he felt his back was in a corner, and used this strategy to overcome the number 1 seed, number 1 in Def Dojo's PR, Lightning DDD in a close 2-1 set, making the comeback with Richter after dropping Game 1 as Wario. Puppet Man kept this momentum going to drop Tona into losers, opting to stick with the winning Richter for both games in the 2-0 victory. Puppet Man then had to face the extremely aggressive and just as deadly Falco player Dr. Curb. Throughout the set, Puppet Man couldn't quite keep up with Dr. Curb's pace. It was back and forth between Wario and Richter, desperately trying to find a solution, but eventually was knocked into losers 3-0. Luckily, this loss did not stop Puppet Man's momentum, as his next set was against the heavy-hitting heavy main Tetrax. Puppet Man, now far outplacing his seed and fighting against an opponent who was accustomed to the pressure of late bracket sets, needed to stay strong with his resolve and stick to the game plan. And stick to that game plan he did. The majority of the set was Tetrax trying to force his way in through the onslaught of axes, whips, and holy water, and Puppet Man making sure that didn't happen. Multiple times throughout the set, Tetrax was double stacking his revenges, but simply could not find a way in before the timer ran out, and eliminating those supercharged hits helped Puppet Man to secure a 3-1 win and a ticket into losers finals.
Dr. Curb came into the first bracket of the season as the reigning champion, poised to make it a repeat. Things were going to plan, with the Falco main taking out Dojo PR number 7 large in November, coming off a win on MJI, both 2-0, to make top 8 winners side.
Oh my god, that was nasty.
Oh, how do you recover from that?
Oh man.
Oh, just to make sure. Another lossless set against Dark Horse Puppet Man would put Curb in winner's final for a second tournament in a row. It is here, against fellow Falco pilot Butterkicks, that Falco would lose his first game of the tourney. That's right. Up to this point, Falco had won every single game he was picked, and it was in this set that the showdown for Best Falco began. After 5 intense back-and-forth games, Curb would fall to his mirror match compatriot to find himself in loser's final. A second 3-0 against Puppet Man would set up the rematch with Butterkicks and Grands. Unfortunately, some unavoidable lag would rain on Dr. Curb's parade as he would go on to lose 3-0 to finish second place.
Yeah, and punishes that close-range laser. Again, forces out the air dodge. It's gotta be converted.
Coming in as a self-proclaimed borderline top 100 Wi-Fi player, with 17 perfect bracket runs under his belt, Butterkicks was immediately recognized by the competition as possibly the bracket's biggest threat. Flying through the early stages of bracket, Butterkicks bested 2 Dojo regulars in Spal2 and Showtime, both 2-0, to secure a spot in winner's side top 8. Here Butterkicks faced their biggest threat yet, a previously number 1 Dojo PR Insin player, Tetrax. In the set against Tetrax, Butterkicks was able to show off her OG main, the Ice Climbers, treating us to a beautiful 0-death midway through Game 2, which shifted the momentum of the entire set. Although Butterkicks lost Game 1 and won Game 2 as Ices, she decided that the Falco, the main character in tonight's bracket, was a solution. The next 2 games were just a start to an exhibition of Falco that we would see in Butterkicks' remaining 2 sets. But the combos and pressure that Butterkicks displayed in these 2 hard-fought wins versus Tetrax showed us that we had a potential for a Falco to be top of the dojo.
I don't know. I think he was trying to ledge jump or catch him. Either way. Yeah. Up tilt back air. Uses the stocks.
Following the win versus Tetrax, Butterkicks was 2 sets away from being crowned champion of the season's first tournament. These 2 next sets included some of the hypest moments we have seen to date, the 2 Falco mains dancing on the stage, with Dr. Curb's aggression butting heads with the reactive whiff-punishing playstyle of Butterkicks. These 2 ways to play the game led to some nasty clips and daredevil offstage ventures. In an extremely back-and-forth set, Butterkicks was able to take a quick Game 5 with a 3-stock over Dr. Curb, forcing Dr. Curb to fight his way back into Grands. With anticipation building, we were all excited to see these 2 powerhouse Falcon players ditto their way through Grand Finals. After resolving some technical issues and switching arenas, Butterkicks was able to stay focused and resist the constant pressure from Dr. Curb, continuing his momentum from Game 5 of Winners Finals and claim the title of bracket champion in a 3-0 fashion.
Okay, spot dodge up tilt. Resets it, but...
god. The back and forth here. Nice attack.
Gets it back here, yeah.